Welcome back, everybody, to the Sister Act. This is the season finale. What is your problem?
Yeah, I just had to get it out of my system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the final.
We hope so.
What are you laughing at?
We just have guests kasi.
Wow, this is our final. This is our final episode of the season. This is something we wanted to do
Yes.
in the first season. But this woman,
And special, highly
highly
requested.
requested, no?
Yes.
Booked and busy.
Booked
My
and
heart's
busy.
pinned
We couldn't get her on.
Oh my
you know
gosh.
what I mean?
Yeah, very, very hard. Oh,
Yes.
daming requests before
Yeah.
guesting din, no?
Well, she's had a stint in one of your videos, so
Did she?
Yeah.
What was the stint?
Beyonce.
Oh no, in like the dance videos.
Yes,
yeah, she's
yeah.
been in it. But we are so happy to have our dad back, Julius, and of course joining him, our mom, Eilleen. Woo! Round of applause.
Say hi, Mom.
Hello.
All right, now
Here we
it's
go.
true though. Mom was heavily requested. You as well, Dad. Now we want to just do. I just want to do like a quick intro. Dad was actually. Dad actually served in ministry for 30 plus years. Is that correct? Of course, Mom alongside. Mom wasn't technically officially ministry, but of course she helped as well.
Right.
But was
Very much.
running her a business full time.
Is still running
Is
her
still
own
running-
business
yeah,
as a boss babe.
Boss babe. But really quickly, at what point did you start the business? How long were you in ministry before Mom started the business? Like how long has the business been around?
allow me to do it. We were like 3 years into ministry.
Okay.
3 years into ministry, and ministry was challenging financially,
Okay.
and so your mom, wanted to help out. Thankfully, she wanted to help out. She continued to support, and she wanted to help out. So we helped each other out, helped her start the business too. And, so it's been running now since it's about 32, 33 years also.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
when you were born,
Basically.
that's basically when you started the business?
Right after Bea was born.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right after Bea. About 2 years.
They were like, ooh,
Year and a half after.
Two.
Yeah.
two was
So
getting
we had to
tough.
feed two children na kasi, so we needed another
Source of
source of income.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. So before we go into that, because there's so many things we want to ask you, let's talk about these two for a while. I just asked Dad earlier how many years they've been married. 38 years this year.
38 this year?
Mom, would you be able to answer, Mom?
No, I don't count. I don't bother. Siya yung tiga-count. Ako lang.
So, Mom,
be here.
just so you know, 38 years na kayo.
Good to know.
How's it been?
Well, I can say it's been a good 38 years.
I'm gonna cry.
I have nothing to. When I look back, I have nothing to regret. God's been good, and I can't have a better partner.
Wow.
Wow.
But being with your dad is one of the best years I've ever had.
Wow.
May regalo yan.
You mean the best things you've ever had?
Uh-huh.
That's me.
How old were you guys when you met?
When I met your mom, I was 22. She was 21.
That is
I
a
was
long
21.
time ago.
Can you
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
Would you say it was love at first sight?
No, it was not definitely love at first sight.
What about second sight?
No, not yet second sight. Not even third. Pero on the fourth, yun na yun.
Wow.
That was it for me. That
Yeah.
was my turning
So you were
point.
hard to get, Mom.
No, my eyes were looking somewhere else, you know. But I realized I didn't like the view on that other side. So I decided to look at other views.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, I saw, available pala to. Okay, let me see. O yan. Then I discovered and I realized, what a catch. Ayan na. So I opened my options in learning and getting to know him.
Okay, so do you have a question for them?
No.
Regarding the season?
No.
I mean, at 21 years old, what were you thinking about, when
They
you
were not thinking.
Like,
Okay.
were you thinking about, like, marriage na?
Yeah.
Ganon?
No, 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 no,
Ah,
no, no.
wala.
Siguro my timeline was 28. I'm going to
No way.
Yes, 28. Marriage is nowhere down the line.
Disclaimer,
My
guys.
career is my priority, and then mga 28, 29, I'm open for marriage.
Disclaimer, guys. They
Okay.
were married at 24.
22.
22 and
Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
22.
Okay, what happened, Dad? Why?
What happened to her plans is she met me. We
Oh,
met
no,
on
wait.
the dance floor at a club, and that
found
changed
love.
things.
No, no,
I
no.
had different priorities.
No,
so-
when you guys met, you were still, okay, 29 pa tayo magpapakasal?
No, no,
Or
that's my
That was
personal.
your
Yeah,
personal.
it's not something you shared.
I don't share to anyone. Parang, no, marriage.
What
no,
was
no,
with the
no.
age 28?
For me, that was a good number. Was just a good number. Parang good number to get married.
Okay na.
Okay na yon. Parang,
This is
patanda
the
na yun.
first I'm hearing
Ganon.
of this. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Ah, really?
You never said that you wanted to get married later.
No, I always wanted to get married at 28, 29. Mga ganun lang.
gusto niya yung career niya. She was career oriented, and so she wanted to do. So she had different priorities at the time we had
Right.
met. But then, yun nga,
You fell in
nakilala
love.
niya ako, na ano siya. So we had some discussions, and it happened a little bit earlier than.
Okay, can we
she
ask
expected.
so you guys were dating how long and you got married how long?
Those are private things. We shouldn't be sharing those things anymore.
Okay, let's just say we got married a year after we met.
A year after you
Yeah.
met. That's super fast.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So for you, Dad, was there any age that you wanted to settle down specifically?
Well, it was very different for me because our era was a little bit different because nga parang people would go out together, and people would fall in love and wanted to build a life together at that time. It's a little bit different today. The priorities are a little bit different. In fact, I would say that your mom was probably ahead of her time in that
Yeah.
sense here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But yun nga, mine was I wanted to look for that person who I was gonna build my life with, who was gonna we were gonna do life together, have a family, build a career, build a business, and that at that time. So I wanted to get married pretty early. So when I
ASAP,
met your
ganon.
mom on the dance floor.
wow. And boy, could she dance.
Yes, she could dance, and I couldn't. But I wanted to marry her. I knew that. I wouldn't say right on the spot. I
Sure.
would say maybe like a month after, pursuing her and things like that. I decided I want to marry this
This
girl.
this one
I
right
wanna
here.
marry
By
this
the
girl.
way, Nica is a representation of mom's dance skills, and I am a representation of dad's
Of
dance
dad,
skills.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a little bit more.
There was a
of-
distribution
yours
of
is-
talent.
Distribution talaga.
Yeah.
Can't have it all.
Now that mom kind of mentioned that, I wasn't planning on asking this, but I mean, since she mentioned she wanted to get married 28, 29, is it okay for me to ask mom, how did you feel that you kind of had this goal, or you had like a standard of like when you wanted to get married, and then you just kind of like, I guess, didn't follow that? Was that something that was that hard for you to let go, or was that something that you easily kind of adapted to?
No, I didn't adapt right away. Well, it's all internally. I never really shared to your father. It was more of like, I got married early. What happened to my plans, my launching of my career, or really enlarging my career? I felt like it was put on a hold because I cannot just think about what I want when you're married, of course, and we became Christians. My responsibility is not living my own life anymore. I have to think of my husband. So I felt like I had to hold my desires and ambition and had to work with my husband we had to work together. So in that sense, I was happy and sad. I was kind of torn because I wanted to enter the, media and producing and directing, and I couldn't pursue that anymore.
Wow. Is that something? But you know this.
Well, I didn't know that she was not in, like I said, she kept it quiet. I didn't know that she didn't really want to get married at a later time.
Yeah.
But I knew that
Kasi
she was
nagya
scared.
siya eh.
Yeah, I knew she was.
So how would you have
Sinagot mo
known?
ako bigla
Yeah.
eh, no?
So
After 6
Nobody's
weeks,
fault.
6 weeks, hindi pala. Anyway, hindi. So anyway, no, it was like this. I knew she wanted to pursue her career. She had her, she had inroads into showbiz
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I knew that she wanted to do that. But it didn't, like, in my mind, we could do it together. You know what I mean? Parang we could get married, she could do that, and diba? So anyway, that was my thinking.
Yeah.
And yeah, but
Nix.
oh, what? You're hearing stuff for the first time? Anyway, go.
I mean, I've heard the other things, like her wanting to pursue a certain career, and then her, like, you not being able to do that because you had a family. But what were the discussions when you guys got married? Like, were you like, did you want to have kids right away? Did you, like, how many kids did you want?
What was the target?
Yeah, like, what was the target now
Personally,
that you
I
guys
didn't
got
want
married?
children right away because for me, medyo traumatized with children. Because every time I see kids, they're always rolling around the floor, screaming their head off in the mall, and wailing, and it's like, oh no, that's not for me.
Konti pa lang ang
Wow,
mga mall
she's
nun.
such.
Yeah.
Who is this diva? She's such a queen for that.
This is not for me. This is not for me. But when I became a Christian, and then I see other Christian families, and then of course I would visit Steve and Deborah's house all the time, and I saw how they raised their children, and it's like the children were so behaved. I was staring at them, looking at those babies, and I said, "Hey, it doesn't seem so bad at all." So after a while, I was more open in having children as I read the Bible more and more. And the scripture always says that children are a blessing. So I had to look at God's perspective more than my perspective, because it doesn't mean that a man raise a child in a wrong way. That's God's way. So as I read the Bible more, my mind was renewed, my thinking changed, my perspective changed about families. I was more open to having children, and I became excited to have kids. So one day, I looked at your father, and I was kind of bored nang kasi with his face. Parang kaming dalawa lang all the time. Sabi ko, I think it's time to
Well, it
for
was
us.
also 2 years in, almost
Yeah,
2
2
years.
years. We
Almost
were
2
already
years.
married 2
2 years
years.
na rin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually one and a
You
half.
know,
you had
we
time
really
together.
enjoyed kasi we traveled talaga. We
Yeah.
really traveled. We went out. We enjoyed our
I mean,
parang
Our first year of married life.
Yeah, first and a
then-
half years of
yeah.
married life. And then of course the option, looking at other Christian families that are really doing well with their children, with their marriage. So you look at each other and say, I think it's time to have kids. So that really changed my perspective with families and children.
But did you know that she didn't want to have kids? Like,
Immediately?
or was she
No.
wasn't interested in kids at
hindi
first?
Hindi naman she didn't want to have kids.
That's
It
not
wasn't-
We don't
yet.
talk about it.
Yeah, we
Oh,
didn't
you didn't talk about
discuss it, but
No-
we didn't
no
really
discussion.
discuss it. But it was more like the natural, and it's not a natural thing.
No, other I know other couples, they talk about having
Yeah,
babies, having
yeah.
kids. No discussion, because I wasn't open. So if you don't talk about it, no issue, right? That's the key
No
there.
way. You didn't
Yeah.
bring up having kids? Like,
No.
you just brought it up one day, okay na, ganon?
I think we should have kids, yeah.
No,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
no, it was what do you call this? Parang yun nga.
you
We
guys
wanted
have
to
to-
enjoy our
Yeah.
our
So you
time
knew
together.
that.
Yeah, we knew that. That we knew. Let's okay, we can have kids later.
So you were
Let's,
on the same page naman.
We were
in
on the
that
same page in that sense.
Yeah.
Let's have kids later. You know what I mean? Let's build our business. I was a businessman at
Yeah,
that
hindi ka
point.
pa
I was
pastor
working.
nito.
Yeah, I wasn't a pastor yet. So
But
yeah.
what made you, I mean, aside from it being like, aside from you guys enjoying that first year and a half of just the two of you, what made you guys ready to have kids?
All right.
Or
Can I?
I'm sure it wasn't like an impulsive thing.
No.
Like, parang, oh, tara na, like, let's have kids.
Can I say what your mom pointed to something very, very, very important. It's what happened is right before we got married, we both, had an encounter with Christ. Our faith was renewed. We gave our lives to the Lord, and that really began to change things. We began to read the scriptures, and we began to have, I would say that pretty much, we would be living for ourselves, building our own lives, building our business, papayaman o kung ano-ano, di ba? And then, of course, when the scriptures opened to us and the faith, more of the faith, and we wanted to mature, but we were also, your mom and I were very passionate about, what we do. And so we really got into it. So that was a turning point. Things began to change. Even she said, about her perspective, I needed to view like kids and family from a godly perspective. And so, children are a blessing from the Lord. So that began to renew our minds. So it was the faith really that was a turning point on our view of how family and, marriage and, children, having children and training them up, is a no. That was a turning point for us, both of us. So would that be fair to say that?
Yeah, of course.
So, so among the kids, so Isa and I have kids, and so I'm the mom here. We're the moms here. I was wondering what changed about your relationship with dad when you had like your first baby. Like you said that you guys enjoyed your your traveling, ganyan. So now all of a sudden Isa pops into the scene, who I think was the cutest little baby. She really was.
She was the cutest little thing. I think
with lots of hair.
the good-
What was the?
Oo.
How did you guys transition into that? Was it was it a smooth transition? You would
it
say
was very smooth because we
Wow.
were both. For me, I was mentally ready. I was mentally ready. I'm going to have a baby, and I'm ready to sacrifice. I'm ready to do what it takes to take care of this child, and whatever I need to be as a mother, I was already mentally ready. So when Isa came out, I didn't experience what other women would experience, postpartum depression. The scripture says that one of the gift of the Holy Spirit is self-control. And I knew if God can give me that self-control, that I will not go through depression or I won't be sad with having a baby. And I wasn't. I was very joyful about it, and I was so ready. It's like a new chapter in my life that I was so excited to face.
wow. Nika.
Plus, of course, Isa was so cute with her two ponytail there,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, Neeks.
It's just like I'm hearing everything. It's not that I haven't heard this. It's just more of I'm hearing it differently now.
Yeah, sure.
And so I
Iba-
feel
Sure.
like
Iba kasi yung interview no?
Yeah.
Hindi ganito yung mga sagot
Yeah.
Iba
and
yung
like,
podcast.
I feel
Iba.
like now I'm having like a mini movie in my mind of like what life was like
Okay.
for you guys. I mean, like you were 24 when you had your first baby.
Yeah, I think a lot of our friends were observing us, and they were thinking, oh, they made a mistake. First of all, we got married really early. Second, she must be pregnant. All this
Right.
chaotic.
Right.
It was like
Assumptions.
a time bomb. They're just waiting for to explode. But your father and I were very stable with our walk, with our relationship with God. We were very deliberate with everything we do. We don't do things randomly. We think about it. We do have a lot of discussions together.
Yes.
We discuss what's the pros and cons. Is it within our budget? Can we handle it? Is this the right thing to do? Is this the timing of God? These are common discussion we always do before we make decisions. So I believe when we do experience hardship, we're aware of our decision, and we're together in supporting with one another in that particular experience we would encounter. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned hardship, so I kind of want to go into this. I'll ask each of you, what is something you think dad struggled with that you were able to help him with in this partner? You know what I mean? Like in a marriage, it's like you see a blind spot or a weakness, and that's somewhere where you kind of stepped in.
Pero bawal
personalan,
ma-offend,
ha?
ah.
Walang ma-offend.
Okay.
Ako.
What's something that you felt like mom needed a little more help with, which is like, that's why it's the beauty of marriage. And you kind of like balance each other
Yes,
out, right? So like,
Your dad kasi...
That's harder for her to answer.
Excuse
than
me, sir. Excuse
no,
me.
yeah, when you talk about hardships and discussions, diba?
I think what I try to help and navigate with your father is when sometimes he becomes emotional on things. I'm the type who I'm just not as emotional as he is. So when he's emotional, he talks to me about it because your dad likes to talk.
He needs to process
He ponders
out loud.
and talks and talks and talks and talks and talks and talks.
Oh, grabe
And
yun.
then I would just sit down and just nod my head and listen to him. So I think that is where I come in, where I allow him to express what's on his mind or his frustrations, but it's like managing his thoughts altogether vocally.
Right.
So I'm there to help him ease it out.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind listening to him. I think, in that sense, I help him a lot in managing his thoughts and his emotions. What do you think, sweetheart?
Do you agree?
I think so.
Okay.
I would agree.
Dapat lang kasi the next time you talk to me, I won't listen to you.
Okay. How about for mom? Okay.
And for you,
And
Dad.
for you, Dad, what is something you feel like
Excuse me, gandahan mo yan, ha?
kung san ka, where do you, what area of mom's life, or walking maybe like early.
Isa lang ba?
Oo, isa lang.
Let's just give one,
She chose
yeah.
the way you process emotions.
Okay.
Way you process. Ikaw, ano yung tulong mo kay ma?
That might be your mom is not as emotional. I think it's she's a very frank person, and she's a very strong person, and so I think I had to learn to help her tone things down.
Right.
Okay, her communication, her manner of
True.
communication.
Yeah.
I had to help temper her in that sense, and please, the what's undergirding all of this is you were trusting in the grace of God and the wisdom and the goodness of God in all of this. I mean, your mom was saying that we were very firm in our faith, or firm or stable, and we discuss things and all that. But many couples discuss things, and still sometimes things don't work out. But fortunately, God is always there and has been the foundation of our lives very, very early on. So we're able to do that. So she's able to help me in those areas where I am weak, like that, and I'm more of an emotional person. And then on the other hand, the strength of her personality and traits, that better communication and more there's a way to feel out life.
Sure.
There is emotion in life, and that's needed too, and to help her bring that out, to see that side too as well. So I think there we helped each other out.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree
So
with that
true,
too.
so true.
With
Yeah.
the both. With the
Yeah,
both
and I
of
think
you.
that, just hearing them say that, that's also like God's grace in their lives, like them
Yeah.
meeting each other, God knowing like what dad needed and what mom needed.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I mean, we don't have the time, but obviously like you're growing up in what we know from your family, there wasn't a lot of emotion that was kind of
True.
like said at home.
Yeah.
And then you marry an emotional man. So
True.
diba? So I feel like I mean they always say like
hindi naman ako emotional eh.
It's okay.
It's
Dad.
okay. Dad.
Emotional ba ako?
Yeah.
You're in touch with your emotions.
Yes. Yeah, you are.
In touch.
150%.
You are in touch with
Ang
your
ganda
emotions.
ng
That's for
pagkasabi
sure.
nun,
And you know
ah.
what, when we were younger,
Yeah.
when you would like, let's say, get upset,
Or when he would cry. Like, I
Yeah.
just thought it was,
It was
normal,
normal.
for men to cry.
Yeah.
And then I became an adult, and then I realized, like, men don't, like, naturally cry. And I was
Yeah,
like, what?
like
my
Nico, I
daddy
don't really
crying all
see
the time.
Nico cry, but like I've seen my dad cry a lot. So
Yeah.
but no, it's super refreshing because like I think even Elijah, your only son, is also kind of
Very in
in touch with his emotions for
So
sure.
it's not true that big boys don't cry.
No, they definitely
It's
cry.
There we
not
go.
true.
No, but
No.
yeah, but hearing that, I think it's also such a blessing that like you guys met and like those were your quote unquote strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
right? Like hearing it out loud.
Yes.
So you guys, right, had Isa at 24 and 25.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure at that time you had discussed, right? Like, did you, like, how many kids you wanted?
Yes, definitely we've discussed. I told him, I said, "Ba, I only want 3. That's
Okay.
it."
But then
the
you had
end. We
5.
close everything at 3.
Right. And then
Yeah.
you had 5. So
Plus-
how did that
Happen?
We,
I'll tell you about it.
neither of us.
No.
It's called.
Please don't tell me.
Eileen.
I'm just talking about, like, how did you guys manage when you know, had 5? You had another 2 kids.
We were never good at math.
No. You're not good in math. I am. Wait, no. I think
Stuff.
no, because to be honest, I
Be
want
careful,
lang
Ella
3.
and Elijah will listen to this.
No, it's okay. They know. I make them kwanto all the time. I only wanted 3. But the Lord gave me 3 girls. So I said, I always said, Lord, I want a boy. Not because I favor a boy, okay? I'd like to correct that. In my younger years, in high school and in grade school, parang it's normal to have, how many brothers do you have? Or how many sisters do you have? And they'll say, I have 1 brother, I have 2 sisters. Parang that's normal. Pero parang in my mind, how come I only have girls that I don't have a son? So dapat may boy at least. That's my perspective or point of reference. So I said, God, I want a boy. So I'm open
to
to
have
have
one more.
another baby. So whatever the outcome, that is it.
Mm-hmm.
The end. But so when I got pregnant, of course we didn't make a ultrasound because all of you were all surprised. No ultrasound.
Yeah.
And my mother was my
The
doctor.
first 4.
The first 4. So when she came out and the Lord gave me a girl, and I said, God, if it's all girls, I'm happy with that. That's it. But I wanted my mother to close me up, but she did not want to close me up. And then biglang, poof!
5 years later?
Surprise! After 5 years, there were changes on my hormones, and our scheduling was not followed anymore.
Wow, interesting. Thank you, Mom.
Family
Scheduling.
planning.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you
So
so
take
much for
note,
that.
when you get old, don't follow the rhythm method. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, noted with things.
Then
PG
the
to ma,
5th
PG.
baby came out.
A boy.
Then a boy. Lo and behold.
Ba't nagpa-ultrasound kayo?
That talaga na-ultrasound.
Wala na.
Parang wala nang surprise. Wala nang surprise.
Yeah.
I want to know the gender.
Yeah.
So when your Lola Leonard informed your dad that he's gonna have a boy,
Gosh.
we were more shocked than ever.
I remember being in that room when
Yeah.
Lola found that photo to confirm
Yes.
that it
Yeah.
was a boy.
A boy,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was
So your dad had the ultrasound picture every month just to make sure
It was
that
still a boy.
It was still a boy.
Yeah, that's it. Kasi, syempre some angles, ganon.
Some angles,
But that
yeah.
makes sense that Lola didn't want to kind of like close
Close
it up
me,
because
yeah.
you're only like 32 basically with
Yes,
Ella.
Yeah.
yes.
You were so
That's like
young.
you were so young.
No, and she wanted. What if you? What
Right,
if
what if
a
you
boy?
change your mind?
Change your mind, and a boy.
Wow. Okay.
Comes out.
Yeah,
So
okay.
she was right.
Your mom did have a 1 miscarriage.
Yeah, so
Yes.
six
In
pregnancies.
Six
between,
pregnancies.
In
Yeah,
between
how-
Bea
yeah.
and Nica.
And me, yeah. So that's why parang 3.5 years kami.
So,
So, I mean, your youngest now is 20. How old is he?
23.
22. He's
Oh,
turning
22. Yeah.
He's turning 23.
22. Turning to 23.
He's turning
correct.
23, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, so now that, we're all technically adults, what was it like raising a family
Of 5?
so large? I mean, I know it's hard to kind of answer that, but,
Looking up into the air like, wow.
I mean, What was it like? I mean,
Well, lots of emotions were all over the place in the house. Everybody was strong-willed. Walang mild children. I don't know why, pero I don't know why, pero they're all strong-willed.
Some are stronger than others, but we don't have to say.
Yeah.
We don't have
You
to
know
say.
what?
I
Please,
asked, I asked the
actually-
last time who got the most
Yeah.
discipline. Sino yung sagot mo, ma?
Number 3.
Oh, si Nica pa din yung sagot.
align, mom.
Oh, she didn't-
Number
Hindi
3.
siya nakinig sa
She didn't even
podcast.
think. Gosh.
Number 3.
You could have
When
paused a
I
bit.
would talk to this child, she would just look at me like, I'm the boss here.
Oh.
I'm the boss here. No, I'm the
May power struggle.
power
Eh,
struggle.
hindi, I wouldn't say Ella was
No,
matapang.
very super. She was my sweetest baby.
Yeah, there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
no,
the-
kasi you were saying lahat strong-willed, but I would say
She's still
Ella's
strong-willed.
Strong-willed in a different
Pero hindi
way.
siya pasaya,
Yeah.
pasaway.
But when I would tell her, sweetheart, can you do this for me? She would listen right away. Yan.
Ito hindi
At
daw.
ito, sweetheart, can you do this for me? Are you talking to me?
Back to your
ganun lang
answer,
yan.
you know, the
What was
Okay.
it like raising 5 kids?
A lot of prayer. Because, syempre, diba, kotse pa lang, challenge na. We couldn't even buy a small car. So, our budget, parang, I would pray, Lord, give us, the finances kasi we cannot even buy a small car. So, the budget for a vehicle was already on a certain amount. So, of course, all the expenses were way, it's going to be higher, right?
Right, of course.
But,
Of course.
my heart was, Lord, you gave me 5 kids. So, if you gave me 5 children, you will provide.
Amen. Yep.
So, there was a lot of
Okay.
prayer. And your father and I just worked hard. We were very content with whatever we have. We do not complain. We
I
lived
remember
within
complaining.
our means.
Yeah.
That was uncompromising. We made sure that we did not spend beyond our budget. We always had savings. So when troubles or unexpected circumstances would come, we would always have a budget for troubleshooting. So, God has been so good in really providing, giving us the wisdom how to manage the family. At the same time, the self-control to obey and be content. Because that is really very
Hard.
important. It's
Yeah.
hard. You see all your friends, buying the most expensive bags, traveling around, just something that you could easily do, but you don't want to because you have 5 children and you want to save, right, Ba?
Yeah.
Comment?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Here's what I'll say. I agree with that. Definitely a lot of prayer, a lot of hard work.
He said he wasn't emotional.
Now you know.
I will say this because I was actually just thinking about it like on Friday, I think, before coming to visit you guys in Makati, and I was like, all of a sudden everybody's gone. But I will say this, it was a joy. It was really a joy. I don't think I can speak for your mom that it was difficult. It was difficult. It was challenging. Many times our faith was stretched. We worked hard, but it was a joy.
Would you say we were worth it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I will not.
Absolutely.
I
We
would ask
wouldn't
God
change-
for all the 5 children.
Yes, all over
All
again.
over
We
again.
do it all over
So
again.
I'll
if we
say,
could go
Lord,
back, we would do it
Give
again.
me
We
5,
would do it again.
but soften her a little bit more.
Yeah. No, it was like I said, it was difficult, but somehow there was a joy and there was still an excitement because we're excited to, what God is going to do in your lives, where He's going to bring you. So there was in the midst of all that the difficulties, the trials, and the overcoming, and the peaks and the valleys, may joy pa rin. We were still there was a joy and an excitement, and that brings energy into things. So we enjoyed the ride.
You know what?
We enjoyed the
In
ride.
our marriage, from provision to even for my company, his court, that you see the hand of God over and over and over again coming into our lives. His faithfulness as we trust Him, as we obey Him and follow Him and read His Word. We just saw the hand of God with our children. Sometimes we didn't really have the best, relationship, and we would have our.
Why are you looking at me, Mom?
Okay, I look at Bea. We would have, difficulties in our relationships, but God was always there to help us mend things. You know what I mean? There were tampuhans, there were, we would fight sometimes, not sometimes, all the times.
We fight a lot in our family.
But, you could see God always trying to change our hearts and mend our differences and giving us wisdom and how to work with one another's strengths and weaknesses. So it's just, you're just overwhelmed with God's sovereignty in our lives.
Okay,
Yeah.
you guys mentioned like there were difficulties, and there was times where you just had to ask for wisdom. But then did you guys like what did you guys decide, like parenting wise? Like, did you guys have like, we're gonna do this, or my parents did this and we're gonna do that with our kids too? You know what I mean? Like, what were some things that you took
Because there's
with
no
you?
formula really
There's no
to
formula.
parenting.
What
Or no, to narrow it down, what was one thing you were kind of sure of, like, okay, this is going to be practiced in our home, like that for sure.
Well, one thing your father and I decide was every time we decide together, we have to be united. Like, he would not do things on his own behind my back, or I won't do things on my own behind his back. We always discuss things, even with our differences, We may even, debate and discuss for days. But at the end of the day, we do not do things behind our back.
So parang
United talaga.
kayo.
United
so if you
talaga.
don't agree with it, but like
We
someone's
don't
gotta get
don't move. If we don't agree on something, nobody moves until we see the right direction that is best for us. And as a couple, we always ask advice. We're not know-it-all. If we're stuck, we would run to Steve and Deborah, Joey and Marie,
and
Joel and
Jenny.
Jenny, whoever we felt that was qualified
college
in
friends,
that
right, yeah.
particular issue in our life, we would just run to them and wala kaming pakialam
Yeah.
kung if we say and express all our parang
So you would tell them our
hardship.
secrets?
Of course, lahat yan.
Yeah.
We laglag lahat yan. So we would just whatever we need to solve
sabay together.
Yeah.
together.
I wanna qualify that a little bit. It was like, as far as like agreement, we didn't always agree on everything necessarily, and then we wouldn't move. No, because sometimes life moves, and whether you agree or not, you've got to tackle it. You've got to address it. So we didn't necessarily agree on everything, but once we decided on something, united na kami. Parang whether she, sometimes
Even though I don't agree with the
even if she
decision.
doesn't agree, or sometimes maybe I don't
He doesn't
necessarily
agree.
agree, but I think there's wisdom behind what she's doing, and she says, we should try this, then we go ahead. Basta once we decide, whether we both agree or not, we don't agree on a lot of things a lot of times, but once we decide, we support each other 100%, and we're like that. And so
And you know what? We don't make sisi.
yeah.
We don't say, well, it's your fault something, now we're having a hard time.
Yeah, I told you so.
I told you
No,
so.
wala.
We don't.
Sure.
Because this is the decision, that's it. It's, we're very careful with those things. We just solve the problem, face the music, try to, always ask what's the best scenario in facing this particular
Yeah.
challenge.
Can I say something
Yeah, of
really
course.
quick? We had some, colleagues in the ministry who, that were an anchor for us, for our family. We had some business people. Give us very good, some very good business advice. I mean, not just business advice, but family advice. Like, our faith, before we were like, when are we ever going to be able to travel? It's like impossible. Parang, we're in the ministry. But, one of your mom's best clients told us, you should travel. And traveling, really opens the world, and your kids are able to learn things that never learned in the classroom. And we saw that, and so we began to pray. We began to pray that we have opportunities to travel, and they came. You know what I mean? So it wasn't only just from ministry colleagues; it was from other friends and all of that. And here's the thing: I mean, your mom and I will, I know I can speak for her. We were far from being like, perfect parents and all of that. We needed, aside from, of course, trusting in God, you really need a community. You need a community of people to rally with you, to be, like-minded, same values, same goals as far as what you want for your marriage and your family. So, importante talaga yun. You need people, to support you. And we were blessed by the Lord to have that in, not just ministry colleagues, but they were also friends, and then other friends, from small group and different people in church. So the Lord bless us with that, because we really needed to depend on them also. So
Can I ask
there,
something?
yeah.
Okay. A lot of people ask us, siblings, why are you guys so close? Or how did you guys get so close?
Us.
And even with you guys as parents, what do you think it is that you guys did as parents to make us like this close? Like what do you think contributed to our relationships with one another and with you guys? Because a lot of people ask this because, not everybody is close to their siblings or to their parents. I mean, I guess
Well,
the way
your
very
father
good
and I are close. I think the response. How do you put it? The order of God in a family has to be very clear. First, it should be God, and then it's like for me, it's husband and wife, and then the children, and after the children, it should be your work. So depending on the circumstances,
So, God,
God,
spouse,
your husband
kids,
and
work.
wife, children, and then your work. So depending on the circumstances, you need to learn whatever you're facing. You need to learn what are your priorities. Like for example,
The priorities. We're in the priorities.
the priorities. For example, when the children are demanding this, and then my husband wants something else, okay?
Doon tayo sa husband.
I would always say to all of you, I cannot follow what you want because your dad doesn't like.
You would say that. Yeah.
I would never turn my back on my husband. That's like, it's always clear with the children, if you fight your dad, if you're mad at your dad, you're fighting also with me. So I always say to you guys, I cannot do that. We have to ask your father first if he agrees or not, because that is wrong. Your dad has to know first. Then you would say, but why? We don't have to tell that. Blah, 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 blah. So I know my priority.
Gabing nilaglag tayo, no?
Scheming children.
I know my priority. My priority is my husband first, not the children. So instead of supporting, your deception towards your father, you do not support that. You just
Revelation.
you have to teach the children. Okay, my mother will support dad first before us because she loves our father.
And the
So
parents.
there's a clear hierarchy and in not in a bad sense.
Order. There's
Order.
an order
There's a clear
in terms
order
of
in a
priorities
sense
in relationships.
Who should each one prioritize first. Now with the children, of course, your father and I made an early decision. I think when you invited him over, we really we did not have any favorites. Zero. That was a deliberate action, thought, action, and with everything. So, for example, I would go to the mall and I only have 1,000 pesos in my wallet, for example,
or less.
or less, possibly. I would buy everybody all, for example, 2 pieces of lollipops. If I could only afford lollipops, I will buy everybody lollipops. So I won't buy Isa lollipop. I will make sure everybody will have one. So, if one is not with us, like Elijah's not with us, and only the 4 of you were with me, we would go home with something for Elijah, something he would like that's special for him. Because if I bought everybody something, then we would buy him something. And it doesn't have to be an expensive item.
Sure.
It's just showing equality to everyone. So sometimes one will ask, Mom, I want to have this. I would say no, because it is not fair if I buy you that and I cannot buy the other one. It has to be equal. And sometimes there was a time you didn't understand why. Of course, when your desire is to have a certain item, we would express that if we cannot give the others, we rather not give anybody, because we don't want to isolate or make someone feel left out, because that's very important for us.
Of course, that was like in the earlier stages, no? Like
Right.
when it's more clear, right?
Yeah.
When it's
Right.
like toys and,
Yes,
as
yeah.
compared to like opportunities or like
Yeah.
school choices, etc.
I mean, yeah, you can't even everything
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
But what we do is we support each one of you equally in whatever and all.
What about for you, Dad?
I think as far as the relationship, the relationship as far as being close, or, I think obviously I would say, like what your mom said, her priority was, it wasn't like, ako lang tapos kayo mga ano. No, it's not like that. It's not so clear. It's more like the first priority as far as relationships is we have to make sure our relationship is strong. If our relationship is strong and stable, then that brings
It trickles down.
security to
Right.
you kids, okay? And then, of course, the next most important relationship that we have in this earthly life, kumbaga, is you guys, the 5 of you. So, and of course now the the in-laws and the grandchildren. So those are but the reason I think you guys are close, and we have a good relationship, a healthy relationship, not a perfect relationship, but it's healthy, is because, for one, I think you saw in action, I think, from your mom and I, that we loved each other, and that that the relationships do matter. That's the most important thing. And if we had differences, we would work it out. We would work it out. And I must say, I think I referred to this, before in a different light, in a different setting, but the power of forgiveness, because we know that relationships will always be subject to, offenses and things. We do wrong things to each other. So part of loving each other is learning how to forgive each other. And I think you saw that somehow, modeled before you. And then, of course, with you guys as well, we encourage that. We encourage you guys to forgive each other. You know what I mean? If you guys were fighting, we would let
Encourage.
you. Yeah, we would
Encourage.
we
You'd
would
be,
encourage.
say sorry.
Yeah.
Ayoko.
Yeah, we would. Of course,
Yes.
it's like that. Of course, it's always like that with kids.
Sometimes you don't want to,
Yeah.
but because you say it, you eventually
Yeah,
act it.
I never meant it.
Yeah. So anyway, so I think we encourage that kind of living, to really love each other, to support each other, and when things don't go right, to forgive each other. And of course, I think we referred to it also last time. We always had you support, one another. If we're going to her recital, we're going to your tennis match, we're going to something, we're always supporting each other. So I think, the relationships, that breeds, healthy relationships. And so I think that's one of the answers. But I think again, di ba, parang one of the most important things is really being humble, learning how to ask for forgiveness when you're wrong, learning how to say sorry, and things like that. And so that really strengthens relationships when you know how to do that. And so by the grace of God, we were able to, help in that way, pass on the faith in that way, kumbaga. Yeah.
I think what you'll agree with, I think you'll agree with me. I think one of the things that really helped us also was that you guys really talked about things with us. Like
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
we
like-
would always have a family meeting.
Yeah, we always had
We
meetings.
would always be transparent with what's going on and what we are going through and what is our decision here.
Yeah.
Just to let you guys know,
Yeah.
and so you're aware. But we would always assure you that we are on top of it,
Yeah.
and this is how we're gonna decide to solve the
Yeah,
problem.
there was always a direction.
Yeah.
But like for example, like let's say they would sit us down for like let's say months that they said it was a little tight.
Yeah.
And so that we would be a little more aware, like, okay, we can't, we
Yeah.
don't even ask to eat out as much. Ganyan.
Yeah.
Kasi, di na kami mag-aaya in that sense
Yeah.
because we know that they already told us na, okay, we're paying for a couple of things, like tuition came in sabay-sabay. It's usually ganun tuition
Yeah.
season.
Sa birthday ko.
Oo.
May,
Certain seasons,
May is not a good month. Yeah.
Dada talaga, parang,
No
Dad,
way.
yeah, when I have this, sabi na, sorry, tuition.
No way.
Yeah. And then, you know what? They changed the calendar. They changed the school calendar to the September, August. Pero tapos na ako. I was
OMG,
out
I'm
of...
so sorry for you.
Thank you. But Dad would always tell me, be like, Nika,
No way.
I'm sorry, we can't buy
would have
you like,
one-on-ones.
this Barbie.
You
Kasi,
would say that?
yeah, kasi we have to pay for your tuition and you're... I'd be like, okay, Dad.
OMG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess
I
that
can't remember all of that anymore.
I guess yeah, but I guess maybe you would have to approach her kasi yung birthday niya yung natatamaan, di ba?
Ako talaga.
Yeah.
Hindi, kasi yung May talaga, di ba? Mother's Day.
Mom's birthday is June.
It's June.
June.
Mother's
June.
Day,
Then Elijah
Elijah's
came.
birthday,
Yeah.
Nika's birthday, my birthday.
Pasabog
Tapos-
talaga.
And then
Tapos-
your Lola Lena's birthday. So
Yeah.
that's 5 important
Tapos
events.
ano pa? Tapos in June, yung ano namin, June, yung what do you call it?
Anniversary.
Anniversary. So talagang May and June talaga medyo ano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so,
It's okay, Nika. Sorry.
It's okay. Mom will buy me.
Yeah.
Mom will buy me
Bumabawi,
clothes.
bumabawi naman si mom.
Bumabawi din ako.
Bumabawi.
Bawing,
Oh,
bawi.
Bawi na.
Bawing,
okay?
bawi nga.
Bawing, bawi na. Okay.
Bawing,
Huwag
bawi,
kayong
promise.
maawa dito.
Okay.
Maawa kayo
Okay.
sa akin.
Okay
no.
naman. So, okay. First, I want to say thank you for sharing all of that. That was crazy. It was a crazy kind of like roller coaster.
Yeah, I think
to
I was
go through.
speechless.
Yeah,
Like,
no, your face was like this the whole time.
tulala.
Tulala is the
Sini.
word.
I was like,
Yeah.
what the
Sini.
What
heck?
do you mean you didn't want to have kids? Okay, but I mean, as Dad mentioned, and he did get a little choked up. Like you are technically empty nesters,
Yes,
right?
we are.
I guess you kind of blinked. I mean, all the craziness, and then somehow we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what does parenting look like to you guys in this season? And what is something that you love about, I guess, this new season? Because there are things to enjoy. I'm sure it's not as loud and crazy. But what are you kind of rediscovering in this season?
Well, I don't know if, the empty nester is something that I always say they have new freedom and all. But I do really miss all my children inside my home.
Mom, I'm coming back.
I changed my mind.
Wait. Eileen.
I'm just saying that because you're not
Teka
with
muna.
me. No. I really do miss my children. It's not as if
Yes,
I
we
didn't
do.
enjoy
Yeah.
any of you coming. So the empty nester season, it's like I'm okay with it, but I really, really enjoyed the seasons where my children were in my home. I enjoyed baking. I enjoyed going to the supermarket. I enjoyed talking to all of
Wow.
you, going out with you, spending time with you, getting mad at you, all of
You miss
those.
it, Mom?
Yeah, I miss it all. Watching over you, so that particular season where it was tiring, but I really enjoyed it. So it's not I think I haven't really thought about
Found yet.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about the empty nester season yet because I'm still pondering
Right.
over my past. You know, so I'm still enjoying that experience.
You're processing
Yeah,
it.
I'm still processing it, and I'm not really like people say, "Oh, so you're empty nester now? Are you happy?" Again? Okay, parang no big deal for me yet at this point.
But what is it like parenting adults now?
You know, I like the parenting with adults because with my major decisions in my life, I feel like you have wisdom to contribute in helping me navigate the solution to my challenges.
Period.
Yeah.
Kami?
Slay.
Wow.
Especially, for example, like in my company, I have, challenges and, I need to troubleshoot certain issues and I would share my challenges to you guys. The wisdom you would share to me
Wow.
really gives me ideas on how to really solve it. So, the beauty of my time with you guys is you're really, although you're not living with me, your support and your wisdom has given me a lot of wisdom
Yeah, and strength.
and strength in navigating my challenges that I'm facing, where normally you're all there, but now you're not there, but you just give me nuggets of, direction or discernment on what particular thing that how I should manage it. So it's like I'm enjoying this season where that God has raised you people up in a manner where you can really learn.
Kumbaga, tao na kami, ma.
Oo, taong-tao na. Super,
Hindi na kami
Adults
bata.
na.
adults
Oo.
to death.
Yeah.
Adults.
Oh my God. Hindi na niya kinaya. She's been telling Dad to stop biting his nails since kanina
Okay.
pa. Okay.
What about you,
What
Dad?
about you, Dad?
Well, obviously, the grandchildren.
Right.
The grandchildren are
I'm sorry.
are the biggest. Sorry to my 5 children now, but the grandchildren are, definitely the apple of our eye. Kumbaga, now that's one of the most enjoyable things, and we certainly look forward to that. And I think what I like now is I enjoy sitting back and seeing how God is directing, how you guys are allowing God to direct your lives and bring you into the seasons where He has you. I enjoy sitting back and doing that. And of course, I enjoy when you ask, when you ask for help, and the once every quarter that you come to the house.
OA.
yung ganon, yung once a quarter.
OA.
Oo. So anyway, no, but I do enjoy that. I do, like your mom says, I do enjoy the relationship, difference where you guys are able to contribute already, as well. You're able to encourage us. You're able to, the exchanges are really, you help us navigate to our lives as well now. But I also enjoy sort of like sitting back and seeing, what God is doing in your lives, where God is directing you. And I also enjoy the fact that you guys ask us to be part of your lives. You know what I mean? You still ask us to be part of your lives, because now it's like, it's hands off, because, you have to decide for yourself. Sure. You have your own fate. You have to trust God and, on your own, and you have to, navigate and, go through this life on your own. But your mom and I, it's absolutely right. When we are, it's like a privilege for us when you make us part of it. So we love that. We enjoy that part. And of course, like your mom said, the times that you're able to help us also navigate through life, it's a blessing. It's really a blessing for us. And so, yeah.
I think one last I like to make a comment with all the children, whether Isa, Bea, Nica, Ellen, Elijah. Whatever season you are in, I just wanna commend how hardworking you are always giving your all in whatever, responsibility you're being faced. Of course, there are challenges, but as a parent, as we watch from a distance, I just want to just congratulate everybody for being so hardworking and never giving up. Of course, there are times you would be emotionally, stuck in a phase or a season. But
Some more stuck than others.
some more stuck than
Why are you
others.
looking at me?
No, wala naman.
But regardless, I could see that you are making all efforts to work hard and being a good steward, really, on the time and the responsibility being given to you. I see so many times, even though the emotion has been so hard and so difficult, you would still stand up and rise up and do the responsibility that's being given to you by other people. And I really commend that because you don't run away from it. So I just want, in public, as a mother, just want to congratulate both of you and, of course, your other siblings.
Thanks, Mom. That was really sweet. I'm gonna play that when I go to bed.
Okay.
Over and over.
Do you want to ask anything?
No, I'm good. Are you?
You're good?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in return, I just want to say thanks, Mom, for guesting. Thanks, Dad, for guesting again.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, we can say the same. Like, we mentioned that we had so many discussions as a family, but even now, we're still learning from each other. It's a constant, it's a two-way street, like
Yes.
communication is always kind of going in and out. And, with a big family, it's kind of hard to all kind of get on like a family meeting, or we don't necessarily do that, but everybody's calling someone and somebody's telling someone of what's going on where, because at the end of the day, we all truly do care about each other and are rooting for each other and are praying for each other. And I think that is a huge, testament to how you guys raised us to just, look out for each other. And I thank you guys for, I guess, just like teaching us to endure and to persevere and to be resilient, in different situations, because we can do that because we know that you guys did it and we weren't necessarily aware of all the struggle. And that's why, some of our questions are towards that, are like, what are the specific things, or what was it like? But because we know that it must have been crazy, right? Like we were caught up in our own worlds, like trying to do our own things, but it must have been insane, but yeah, I think that, looking back, we always will have like that wonderful childhood where we were all, I'm going to get emotional, where we were all in the house.
That orange house.
That darn orange house.
Yeah.
Together.
Sharing rooms.
We'll always kind of have that. And it's kind of going to be, I guess, locked away somewhere special.
Yeah.
So thank
Stop
you.
crying.
Dad cried first. So thank you for guesting, and thank you for
sharing that with us.
for always just bearing your soul so openly with us.
We love you.
Love you guys.
We love you guys.
We love you. Thanks for having us. We are, like I said, your mom and I enjoy being part of your lives. We enjoy that, we're part of the ride now. So thank you very much.
Cut the show.
I almost, naalala ko kasi when Mom was talking kanina about she was enjoying getting mad. Naalala ko yung mga gabi na nagigising si Mami pag may nawawalang bata.
Sino ba yung nawawala?
Ako yun.
Okay.
Merong
For another
nawawala,
time.
promise.
Hindi umuwi sa curfew.
Lahat kayo walang curfew. Hindi kayo may curfew pero lahat kayo hindi sumusunod. On another
And on a good note,
yeah.
We'll end on the I love yous.
we'll end on with
Can
the
I
I
just
love yous.
Yes,
one
of
more thing?
course.
Maybe I don't know preview if you decide that you want to have us again.
We could.
Maybe parenting. I don't want to be presumptuous.
No,
So anyway,
we will.
No, I would. We didn't get a chance to do it because there's only so much you can in this time, but I would sort of like the parenting priorities for me. What it's like if I were to think through it. and what were the three things that, the three most important things for me. We can discuss that, on another time.
Sure.
As far as,
So hindi mo sasabihin ngayon? Ita-teaser mo lang?
teaser lang.
Okay.
Teaser na lang.
Pa-teaser siya.
But
Okay.
parang,
You're-
Gusto niya talagang bumalik.
Yes.
no.
Feel na
you want me
feel
to-
niya
you-
bumalik.
Of course.
You can say it now.
You can say it, then you can expound.
Later on, okay.
Yeah.
I would say
Just like your practical tips.
I don't know if it's different from a lot of other Christians or pastors or whatever, but in my mind it's what guided us. Of course, what was the most important thing for us to impart was the faith first, hard work, which your mom mentioned already, hard work, and then the
Word of honor.
wait, first. Not first.
Okay.
Faith, hard work, and then how to pursue the direction that God wants
That's
for you
good, that's
specifically.
good.
Yeah. We didn't have time to get into
Yeah,
that.
we didn't have time to, but those were the three things that was always
Yeah.
sort of like, I thought about it. What's guiding us is, of course, the faith, and then hard work, and then also how to pursue, like, where God is, leading you.
Yeah.
How we did that. So
Sure.
anyway,
And
that's for the future.
for the next time,
I'm
I mean,
excited to talk about
yeah, exactly. And I mean,
Yeah.
even just like being able to manage like 5 different personalities and like
5 different
you know,
directions.
5 different directions. So
Right.
we'll get into
5
that.
different directions.
We will definitely get into that next
Well,
time.
thank you
So
for inviting us.
it will not be the last time, trust me.
Yes,
We'll be
yeah.
Okay, thank
nagging
you.
to yap. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.